We just created the four the four dimensions on the primary view that match the four constraints in the sketch from this part that we created the drawing from. So you might be wondering, well, what other dimensions are left? As I zoom down here, we have these other views. So, do we need dimensions on the other views? Well, when we went to our part, it was suggested to go into the sketch 1 so that you would know what four constraints for this particular part would need to be on the drawing. So what I do is I go to the sketcher. If I got 15 constraints, I probably need 15 dimensions on the front view or primary view. So that establishes those dimensions, but is there any more dimensions to take into consideration? We'll exit the sketch. When we made the profile, we went to the pad feature to create a solid. If I double click the solid, you may recall we had to key in a length. In fact, when you double click the solid, you see those four dimensions or constraints. These four constraints plus the 2-inch constraint must be identified on the drawing. So if you double click your part, whatever constraints you see should be on the drawing as well. And that really helps you identify what dimensions need to go on the drawing. So this 2-inch dimension represents the thickness of this part. I'll cancel this and go back to the drawing. So I have options here. I can go to annotate and go to dimension. Notice that the primary view has a red box around it. The red box identifies that this is the main view and it is the active view. If I select this line though and come over here, it did know to put it in that view. If this is not behaving right, always keep an eye on your specification tree. You notice it went yellow? It knew I went into the sketch and did something, or I was in there fiddling around with something, and it's telling you, hey, I don't know what you were doing over there, but you got to update because I need to verify that everything is correct. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit update. These will not be yellow anymore. Okay, now even though this dimension, this view wasn't active, it was able to create it in that view. But I'm always worried about that, so I don't like to do it that way. So for me, if I were going to create that dimension, I might put that dimension over here, and I would make the view active first. You want the red box around here by either double clicking that red box or the box to make it red, or double click the tree, identifying you want to work in the right view. When I go to dimension, I'm going to select the top line and slide this up. I want this approximately aligned with the other one. So to align that, I go to the View tab. In the View tab, I turn on the Display Grid. That kind of helps me eyeball how close these are together here. Okay. Also, these dimensions are supposed to be a 1/2 inch off that part. Okay. And make sure these are aligned. Remember, we can go to right-click Properties, change the feet and inches to numDink that. Select OK. And now I have my 2-inch dimension from the part identified. So again, I go to Open 3D Data, let it find the part so I don't lose the link. Double click on this. That 2-inch dimension is what I just identified. I'm going to go back to the drawing and I'm going to turn the grid off. And every time I save, I want to right click on the sheet 1 and use Edit Background. No, sorry, excuse me. Right click on sheet 1, Edit Sheet. And then I have to do it one more time to get that blue axis over here in the left corner, fit all in, and save it just like that. And again, if you're like me, you kind of like to zoom it down just a hair so you can see everything, because this thing here is in the way. All right, we now have a part that has all the necessary dimensions. The next step is going to be to learn how to dimension the isometric view.